Phoebe Harris, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've met, although I've followed you on Instagram for a while, so I feel like I know you. I'm surprised to see you and something other than swimwear.
No, it's good to be here. And I think I followed you back today as well. I thought, I need to quickly follow you back before the podcast.
So who is Phoebe Harris?
So I am a swimmer from New Zealand. I was originally born in England, in Plymouth. And I moved over here when I was 2 with mum and dad, and I've got 4 siblings. And I grew a real passion for swimming. It was more so just to benefit me. Because obviously, like living on an island, you kind of want to know how to swim. All the drownings and stuff in New Zealand. So that was like a main priority for mum and dad. It was like, okay, Phoebe, you got to learn how to swim. And then it kind of grew a bit of a passion. I was really scared to start competitive swimming. I just wanted to do it for the fun. But then there was actually a coach that saw me and he thought, I think you have I think you've got a real, what would you call it? He just saw something in me with swimming and he just thought, you should really give competitive swimming a try. And then I was like, okay, and I ended up loving it. So literally, that's how my swimming journey somewhat happened. That's a very short, kind of brief description of it. But literally, I'm a swimmer. I do a little bit of like social media. I don't like to call it influencing because I'm not an influencer. I post about my passion for swimming and then it just led into kind of all this other cool stuff. But swimmer, I like the gym, and somewhat influencer, not really. And
you say somewhat an influencer, but your numbers on social media are staggering. Like if you compare, say you. By the way, we'll get into that in a second. But first of all, your parents moving to New Zealand and teaching you to swim. That's such a funny thing because I suppose if you're from another country, you move to New Zealand, like one of the top reality shows here is literally Piha Rescue. A show based around people drowning at the beach. So it would be quite alarming. So what sort of age? So you were 2 when you arrived.
So I was 2 when I arrived and then I would have started swimming, maybe when I was about 5 to 6, but it was such like casual stuff, like 1 to 2 times a week. And then I just kind of kept doing that just as a kid, just for like fitness and that. And then eventually my parents moved all over the show. So we first started in Wellington, because they were obviously from England and the weather's a bit crap in England. So they're like, okay, so we're going to move to New Zealand, super nice, it's a great place to be and all that. So we moved to Wellington first, and mum and dad were like, what the hell is this? It is freezing, it's windy, it's like we're back in the UK. So my mum and my sister, she went and they checked out Hawke's Bay, and they're like, oh my gosh, Hawke's Bay looks beautiful. And we're like, oh, okay, so then we moved over there, and then I grew up in like Hawke's Bay. And that's when I first started swimming. I can't remember the guy who coached me. But I was just, learned to swim and all that. Nothing really too cool. But and then I was in Hawke's Bay for a bit. And then I think we moved to Wellington, where I actually started swimming a bit more often. I was probably about 7 to 8, I think. But it was, and I swam at Tawa Swimming Club. It was my first ever club. I think people don't know that about me. I actually started at Tawa Swimming Club. And that's kind of where I got more into like competitive swimming. But I was always like, no, I don't want to swim. I didn't like the pressure, and I was just a kid and I was playing around all the time and I just didn't, want all that. But no, Tawa Swimming Club is when I first started. But my parents, honestly, I think I've lived in like 15 different houses or more. Just mum and dad could never settle. Dad would be like, oh, there's something new and shiny. Oh, there's a new job, going. oh yeah, we'll go for this. And then mum will be like, okay, well, we'll go check it out and stuff.
How's that as a kid or at school age? Quite distressing?
Honestly, it wasn't too bad because all the moving was happening when I was in primary. It wasn't so much when I was in intermediate or high school. I feel like that's when people can bully and all that. It's kind of in those ages. So I was kind of protected because I was within a primary school age. So honestly, it wasn't really too bad actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And how good are you? So you're a breaststroker?
Yeah. So
a long distance breaststroker?
So it started off as I was I think when you're swimming, you try all different types of strokes out. So when let's just start it from when I was 12 years old. I was I think I did backstroke. I was a backstroker. Now I can't even swim backstroke. I'm terrible at it. So I was a backstroke at the start, and I did a little bit of sprint backstroke. Then when I moved it to my club in Auckland, I think one of the coaches was like, oh, let's get into distance freestyle. That was a very painful time, distance freestyle. Gosh.
Well, what's distance? What do you mean? Like over 200, over 400?
Yeah, like 800. I'd always be that like sad kid at the end of the meet, like waiting for my event. And then it's when everyone kind of leaves the pool because it's like the distance events, the boring events to watch. Back in, like, obviously, I wasn't very fast at it. So, but then, so yeah, honestly, it was like distance freestyle. And then I did a little bit of like open water swimming, which was great fun actually. And I actually was sponsored by Blue 70 for a little bit. They're like the top like wetsuit kind of brand. So that was quite cool to get like funded with wetsuits and that. But yeah, literally distance freestyle. And then it moved to breaststroke, distance breaststroke. And then when I came to, at the time, PSC, could obviously Club 37 now, but it was PSC before, Pukekohe Swimming Club, I turned into a sprint breaststroker. I blame my partner because he got me into loving the gym, and that's kind of where I put it on, like put a bit more muscle on and that, and wasn't as built for those distance events. So it just got shorter and shorter. Now you can only get me to swim one lap of breaststroke, which is 50 breasts, and that's all I'd really do in the pool. So
you blame your partner. That's Josh, who's here today.
Yeah,
he's a swimmer as well.
Yeah, so Josh is a swimmer too, and he definitely got me more into the gym and that. But like, I love the gym, and it's been cool because I've been taking a big step back from swimming, and I kind of needed something to preoccupy my time, and I love the gym, so I'm thankful for it because it gave me more of a pathway beyond swimming. But I never used to love the gym so much. So
yeah, because you seemed a little bit uncomfortable just before, like referring to yourself as an influencer, but I mean, you definitely have an entrepreneurial spirit, and you've done very well for yourself.
Oh, thank you.
It seems like you're doing incredible stuff, on that side of things. Out of the pool, probably financially better than most swimmers, to be fair. But if you kept at it, could you make the Olympics or Commonwealth Games, or are you not quite at that sort of?
I think like it was back in like 2019. I had like an astounding swim, and I was like on top of the I was just on top of the world. I was so happy, and the Olympic dream kind of I think I took like honestly like 6 or 7 seconds off one of my best times in the 200 breaststroke. And I was like, yeah, like Olympics, I've just got to do that again and I qualify. But I feel like when you get a little bit older, it's like a bit of a reality check, and it's kind of like there's so much goes into swimming, like the commitments you have to make, and it's just like I have so much respect for people who make the Olympics because I know how much time and effort and the amount of time I would put into my swimming, probably times up by 10, that's like what you have to do to be the best. So I kind of accepted that I wasn't going to be Olympian probably 2022, 23, but I was like content and happy because I think a lot of people's dreams are to make the Olympics, but mine wasn't really to make the Olympics. I just, especially my like last kind of years of swimming competitively, it was just more so to have fun and have a good time and to better myself, because I think we always have this like scale of swimming, and it's like you either have to make the Olympics or you're not gonna you haven't achieved anything in the sport. But I feel like a very important thing is we come so far, we don't stop to turn around and look at how far we've come. I think of it like steps, and you're walking up the steps and you're always looking above, like what's next, but it's like, oh my gosh, like I have achieved so much in my swimming career. So I was content, and it honestly, it doesn't faze me too much, and I won't ever have the Olympic status, but that's okay, I'm fine with it. So
yeah, it is. I think it's like the iceberg, and people don't see the bit that's under the water,
100%.
like all the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah.
Just before we started, I was talking to you and your partner about this, and I just don't understand swimming, like the amount of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
Even for the like the school age levels.
Yeah.
You have thousands of kids that have their parents driving them to the pool at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning. Then they're doing a day at school. So much work required.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard, and like I think now, especially like giving back, like mum and dad since I was like 12, mum and dad were always dropping me off at training at like 5 a.m. in the morning, and just just doing everything for me and supporting. And I know when there was a situation, my mum's sister unfortunately passed away. This was probably about 2015, 2016. But a lot of that kind of somewhat inherited money went towards my swimming, because it was like mum knew that would make her sister proud. And that's one thing that I really cherish, that like mum did that for me. So like right now it's like, give back to mum and dad, you know, like give back for like all they've done to me and stuff. So, but honestly, like the parents of swimming, like credit to them, because it's not easy. But the only thing with parents is you cannot put too much pressure on your kids in swimming, because it's just like, especially like now being 22, all those swimmers with over kind of competitive and pushy parents, none of them last in the sport. And I actually heard Adam Peaty, actually, amazing swimmer, he actually talked about that with like strict parents with swimming, and it was just like, you don't go as far as if you have loving, you know, supportive parents. But I've seen all of it through my career and that, and it's just you got to be supportive, because it's enough pressure on its own.
God, why would parents be strict about it? Like, if that was me, I'd be like, hey, Phoebe, if you don't want to go to the pool tomorrow morning at 5, that's cool. We can sleep in.
Oh, God, I wish.
Or else you can use my phone, take an Uber.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh, I wish my parents would, like, you know, there'd be times at 5 a.m. and they'd, like, come into my bedroom, like, Phoebe, it's training. I'd be like, oh, no, like, go away. Okay, my old swimming group, gosh, it was strict. It was, you make 8 sessions a week, or you get 3 strikes and then you're out. And it's just like, and even if you're sick, I remember my old swimming coach, honestly, even if I was sick and I would tell her, she wouldn't believe me. Like, she'd be disappointed that I'd text her and be like, oh, hey, I'm sick, I can't make it. Like, it was a bit of a toxic relationship, that one. But it was
it's a lot. Yeah. 8 sessions a week. So you're how old? Like secondary school age?
So I would have been 13, and I was in intermediate, year 8. And I was swimming 8 times a week, going to school. So you'd wake up 5 a.m, you'd go swimming up until, hop in the pool at 6, hop out at 7:45, then get to school probably 8:15 p.m, a.m, sorry. Yeah, gosh, now I think about it now, school from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m, back to training at 4, yeah, gosh, yeah.
Were you falling asleep in class?
Oh, honestly, especially in high school. But I kind of like, I was a bit of like the teacher's pet. Like, my deputy, we call them our dean. Not like principal, but they're like below, a little bit below them.
Like a head of department.
Yeah, sort of yeah. And they were, Mrs. Hedder, actually, she was called. And she was like amazing, because she just like understood like the troubles of swimming and that. And then if I'd fall asleep in class, the teacher would be like, we're sending you to the dean, and I'd be like, okay, like that's all right. And then I was doing 5 periods on year 13, my last year of school. Usually people do like 5 periods. I was only doing 4, and then I got 1 study period when I'd get to go to the library. So sometimes I'd just go home and not come back to school. It was quite cheeky of me. But it was like, the school was actually pretty supportive with swimming, so... Yeah.
And were you okay at school? What did you want to do? What were your goals and aspirations when you were at school?
Do you know, I didn't do bad at school, but I was always kind of, my brain thinks differently. I'm not like the academic type, you know. I'd usually, yeah, you know, I was good at, we used to do like fabrics, which is like sewing and that. I would always do fabrics and make so many bloody pillows. It's so funny. But maths, wasn't good at maths. English, I was alright, but my spelling is atrocious. Still is. So, no, I wasn't really the school type. I kind of just always knew I wanted to be different and do different things. And, yeah, I wasn't really the school type, unfortunately.
So when did social media sort of become a thing in your life? Yeah, we'll get into that now. So,
yep.
343,000 followers on TikTok. This is at the time of recording this. And one of those videos has 17 million views, which is fucking insane, right?
Yeah.
It's a crazy number.
Oh.
And all that is just you and your togs pushing yourself out of the pool and then sitting on the edge.
Yeah.
You know, your bum's right there, but you're wearing togs. You've got swimwear.
Yeah.
Instagram, 182,000 followers. You scroll through lots of tog and butt shots, but again, it's just swimming related.
Yeah.
What else is there? Oh, March 2018, you had a post. I'm happy because I just hit 10,000 followers.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Was that in 2018?
Yeah, March 2018. So that was 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. So that's, I suppose, 10,000 followers back then on Instagram was quite big.
Yeah.
And how old were you then? It's 6 years ago.
Oh gosh.
Your
Told you
current
I
age
can't
minus
do,
6.
Can't do maths. When I'm about, 16,
16, okay.
15.
Yeah.
Kind of around that. Gosh, 10,000. I think like... So how I started social media was back when I was... So it was when we first moved up to Auckland when I was 12. Like, so my parents moved all over the show and stuff. And I started swimming. And I remember it was at my sister's wedding. One of my sisters got married. And we were in this like beautiful like venue and that, and they had a really nice pool. And one of my elder sisters, I've got a lot of sisters, well 3 sisters, and my sister Susie, she took a photo of me, and I was kind of in togs, and it was like I saw it, I was like, oh, that's quite cool, I quite like that. And I was only like 12 at the time, and that kind of like started the kind of passion for like taking photos, and then literally just did that up until obviously now, still doing it and that. But it'd always be a constant battle off with my mum, because obviously I was like 13, but I was around a lot of older swimmers, so it kind of like didn't force me to grow up faster, but it kind of made me, I don't know, when you're like 13, 14, you do need to be a bit careful what you're posting. But constant battle with mum, like, take that down, that's too raunchy and all that. And I'm like, oh, mum, like, but literally just started posting swimming, and I think people followed me because I was swimming and I was doing something different, because I think social media now, it's so popular, everyone's doing it, but I think back when I started doing it, no one was really doing that type of social media, so you got a lot of stick for it. Like, I got, gosh, my whole life, like, especially within swimming, like, I was going to talk about this a little bit, but the swimming community was absolutely terrible to me when I was taking photos and togs and that, and it was kind of like, someone was doing something different, and it was, like, rip into her, like, bring her down, because I was just being different and doing different stuff. But it didn't stop me. Like, I just kept doing it, and I didn't listen to what they said. But there would be some really, really hurtful stuff, and like...
Wait, what age are we talking here? Like, sort of secondary school age?
14, 15. Like, it was bad, and like, I remember I'd be like crying to mum and just like... But I wasn't a mean person or anything. It was just because I was... People's perception, and I still get this now, was me on social media, like that's what they thought I was like. But I think when you meet me, I'm completely different to what I portray on social media. But I just think that swimming community back then, when I was that age, was so hurtful, and I don't think, because it was so fresh what I was doing, people didn't know how to take it, and it was just the only way to get my attention was to hate on me, instead of being positive, like, good on her, don't expect them to bow down to me, but, like, oh, good on her for doing that, like, that's cool, but gosh, yeah.
Yes, it's funny, because I suppose at that age, like, say 13, 14, 15 or whatever, I mean, you're just a girl in togs. I suppose there is, maybe there is like a slight sexual element to it, but that's more to do with the people that are viewing it or how they view it than anything. So I can understand your mum having her reservations. That's just, or maybe even one of your senior coaches or whatever, but everyone else, it's just got to be jealousy, right? Oh,
it was just like, people just had no idea how to take it, and it was just like, it would actually put me off so much that I wouldn't even want to take photos, like poolside. And it's like, oh no, like I really want to take this photo, but it was like, you just get so much shit, and I was just like, oh God. But especially like when I was younger too, like obviously like the photos I take would be more raunchy. I'm not doing like super raunchy stuff on Instagram, but they would still, they wouldn't be horrific. But I understand, like, obviously a young girl in like bikini and that, but it was just, God, growing up just within swimming and that, and it was just funny, like, people that would like hate on me and bully me and honestly make my life a living hell. I think I actually got like attacked in a warm-up pool by a girl for no reason, just because of social media. I literally
what do you mean attacked? Verbally or physically?
What happened? I need to remember. I swear she swam into me, and then I was like swam directly into me, and I got like a big like cut on my nose, but she knew exactly like who I was and like what she was doing. And then we actually, after the swimming meet, we had like a paintball game or something, and when you finish paintball, they're like they're like stop, or stop shooting and stuff. She literally stood like, I swear, oh my gosh, like 20-30 centimeters away from me, and just boom 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 with a paintball gun for no reason. Like, I didn't even know who she was, but just constantly just people like Phoebe, like bring her down in that. And but what I was going to say before was that there was I'm not going to obviously drop names, but people like post like being horrible to me and all that, and like like literally commenting hate on my page and stuff. But then a couple months later or something, posting on their Facebook timeline about like suicide prevention. I was just thinking, it's great you're promoting that awareness, but it was just like, oh, I just
the hypocrisy of it.
Honestly,
you can't have it both ways.
I just was just like,
yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what to call it, but I was just like, if you preach that, then actually do it, you know, like. But I just, again, I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never relive those years. But it didn't stop me. And now I'm just like, it's all paid off.
Fuck, they must hate you now.
Oh,
this is
God,
before you were making money out of it. And now you live I follow you on Instagram. You live a very, very good life, and you're doing very well for yourself.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And we've been talking for 20 minutes. Like, and I think me and anyone that's watching or listening to this will get the impression of who you are. You're a polite and lovely young woman. You know, what kept you going? Why did you stick to your guns?
So what kept me going was, I ex-boyfriend now, he was kind of like, when I'd get a lot of hate, he was very supportive and would always have my back. So I think that honestly that genuinely helped shape my image now, because I always had like that supporter, and he was, honestly, anyone would be horrible to me, he'd take them on. So it was kind of like, a bit of a relief, like a bodyguard. It was great. But honestly, that I had a few good friends, and I was never the popular type in swimming. Like, I would only have a few friends. Could everyone that would make like New Zealand teams and that would have all these friends and that. But I always had like a few little handpicked mates that I'd talk to. But honestly, a few good friends, obviously my partner at the time, and then just family, like, was just the best. Like, you gotta have thick skin. But eventually, as I just kept getting hate and all that, I just kind of you just eventually get immune to it. And I think, I had so many conversations with my sisters and my mum and that, and it was just, don't take it to heart, you know, sweep it off, you know. And I feel like when people are mean to you, that's more of a reflection of themselves, opposed to reflection of themselves and what they're dealing with. I think like they needed to take it out on someone, and I was just there doing well, and it was just like, rip into Phoebe, you know. So, but it's okay, you know, and it's made me who I am today. I think it's very common. I think a lot of people go through this, but it's just life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it depends on, I sort of find, with stuff I get, it depends on how you're feeling day by day. Mm-hmm. So some days I can feel fucking bulletproof.
Yeah.
You can send me the meanest pile of shit in the world and I'll laugh at it, and it'll be water off a duck's back. And other days you can be feeling a little bit sensitive, and it really fucking hurts.
Or you can be a bit moody sometimes, especially being a girl, you know, get a bit moody sometimes.
So January 2022, that's when you launched OnlyFans.
Yes.
There was a post, swimmer girl from New Zealand showcasing exclusive content.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride and travel along with me. How long has OnlyFans been about? A lot of people won't even know. I don't know much about OnlyFans. So a lot of people won't know much at all.
Yeah.
OnlyFans had been around for a few years before that?
I think they started in like 2016. I think OnlyFans started. But I think like the guy who created it earned like something crazy in profit, because he owns like the full company, I think. So I think he's making billions of like profit yearly. But so what happened was, when did this happen? Let me think. So lockdown started. This wasn't the first one. This was like the second one in like 2021. And I started a Patreon. So Patreon is like, I didn't want to do OnlyFans because I didn't want to go down that, like, I think there's a lot of stigma with OnlyFans with the pornography and all that. So I was like, no, I want to stick to, obviously, Patreon. And I did Patreon for a bit, but you really couldn't monetize yourself well, because people couldn't send tips to you on OnlyFans. You can send tips. It was like one base subscription price, and that's all kind of the income you could get from it. So I started Patreon, which was like a nice way to lightly kind of warm it up, because it got people more used to like Phoebe's offering a subscription based like platform. I think back then OnlyFans was like, oh my gosh, like that is just atrocious. Like you were terrible. Like, because it's just like the stigma around OnlyFans is like, it's terrible. But I had like the sign. I actually had someone from OnlyFans directly reach out to me and said, hey, look, like, would you start at OnlyFans? Like, we're a great platform. I said, I know all about OnlyFans and that. But I kind of had like a talk with them on OnlyFans and stuff. And they did a launch for me. They put like a video together and launched it on the OnlyFans Instagram, I think. But yeah, I moved to the platform in January, 2022. And like, it was like crazy. Like, I think obviously I had the perfect target market. Obviously, I have a high male following, and it was just like the male audience was just like, boom, went straight in there. And it was great, but it was like, it was a lot of money, and it was kind of like I had to talk to people because I was like, oh my gosh, like I have, you know, I'm not bragging, but you know, a lot of money was coming in. Like I was on like WINZ at one stage when I was swimming, and then so like all this money, and I think like within my family we've never, because like completely self-made, never grew up privileged. Like I said, like I have 4 older siblings, and mum and dad, we weren't, you know, poor, but we weren't like doing amazing. Like I said,
class.
a lot of the money was kind of, swimming money was inherited from obviously my mum's sister, so that was what was supporting me in that. And my parents have so many bloody kids, and kids are so expensive, so I blame them partly for...
What are you, like, how much money are you talking about early on?
Oh, when I would have first started, I'm not going to drop, like, actual figures.
That's entirely up to you, but I think this is aspirational.
Yeah, well, maybe, like, my first few months on OF, I probably would have been making over, like, 40,000 New Zealand a month.
So you were like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, and that all that money at the time then was like, oh my gosh, and obviously you got to pay tax and that, so it was like, quick, get an accountant, you know, like find an accountant. And my first accountant actually kind of got, it wasn't bad, but he kind of took, I think, advantage of me because I was young, and he was charging like crazy prices and that. But then it was a lot of money, and then obviously like, you know, now it definitely makes like a lot more than that now. But it was just like when it first started, it was like, oh my gosh, like what do I do? And then my partner was, could obviously you have to like, having a partner and having OnlyFans, it can be a bit like, you know, what are you doing in that? But you just got to have like a open, honest relationship about it all. And, you know, we kind of set barriers and all that, and like what feels most comfortable for me to do in that. And, but yeah, it was a shock. It's just like the power of OnlyFans is just like, oh my gosh, like the money. And, but as well, like with what I'm earning, I could earn so much more if you step in that other boundary of like pornography, but like, I will never go down that route. If people want to do that, 100%, that's up to them and all that. But I just think with me, it's nice to, I'm comfortable where I am. And I think, especially when you start it, you have a boundary. And it's so easy to overstep that boundary because obviously when money's involved in that, it's, oh, you know. It's
intoxicating.
Yeah. And then you end up looking and, you know, overstepping, you end up looking back, you're like, oh my gosh, like, not, you know, I've gone too far. And you once anything that's on the internet stays on the internet. So you got to literally be sure everything you post, like, okay, you know. Because obviously, like, content gets leaked on OnlyFans because some people don't want to pay and just all sorts of stuff. So, like, OnlyFans, amazing, great and all that, but it comes with a lot of negatives, and I think...
Or just the stigma and connotations from...
Oh, 100%. Just, like, I think I posted in, like, close friends on Instagram, I was like, hey, guys, I'm starting OnlyFans and that, and... But honestly, my friend group has been, like, absolutely, like, amazing with it, and, like, I haven't lost any friends doing OnlyFans or anything. Like, I have a small, tight circle, and that's, like, all I need in my life. Like, I've just got my good girlfriends and obviously like good partner and a good family and that. But it's cool. Like, OnlyFans is great, but I think one thing that does get a bit annoying is people like, it's so easy, like OnlyFans is so easy. It's really not that easy because you really need to have that platform behind you to even get subscribers. And I feel like when you're starting off, you know, some people can overstep that boundary. I think the way I do OnlyFans, I think it can be a little bit harder. But everyone's going to say it's so easy in that because obviously there's good money in it. But it's not as easy as it looks. And like I said...
Well, it's a job as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're very well paid. It's a very well paid job, but you need to put the work in. Yeah. So, I've never subscribed to anyone on OnlyFans, and there's probably a lot of people listening or watching that haven't either. So, so you go through and then there's like tiers?
Yeah. So, not so much tiers, like... So you have the, like, you go into like OnlyFans and you have like the OnlyFans page and you can kind of customize it how you want. So I've got like, you get like a profile picture and a cover photo, like Facebook, and then it kind of says subscribe. And then you get access to all like unlocked media. And a lot of people do it differently. So you can do a free subscription. So people can subscribe to your OnlyFans for free, but you have a lot of paid messages behind it. So they want to see more content of you. They have to pay to see it. My one is that you pay to subscribe. I think it's $25 to subscribe. And then
For a month.
For a month,
right.
yep, for a month. And then after that, then you have like mass messaging and like messages and all that. And then people can obviously go through and unlock custom messages and that. But I think like...
What's a custom? Oh, like a direct conversation with you.
Yeah, not so much that, like custom, like video. So someone might be like, here we go. Someone might like feet, and they'd be like, look, can you get your toes done? And I want to get a video of you scrunching your feet or something. Like, honestly, it's not even like has to be crazy raunchy content. It's just like
just weird fetish stuff.
A lot of people just want to have a genuine conversation. I think my platform as well, I haven't got thousands and thousands of subscribers on there. I just have like a good amount of subscribers, and basically it keeps the group more like tight and like, I don't know, like, and I do all my messages as well. A lot of people use like mass like messaging like companies and that actually message on their behalf. But I like genuinely, I sit down every day and I'm doing the messages and talking so people know it's actually me. But a lot of those like top creators obviously be getting so many messages a day. They do need to get help from like messaging teams and that. But I try to keep it very much like a tight, close knit group, and then obviously have like a separate like a relationship with every single person on there, and literally most of my subscribers, we just talk about swimming and how their day was. And I hurt my knee in the gym last week, and I was like ranting to a few. I'm like, oh, my knee, I hurt my knee, it's so annoying. Like, and just like, and a lot of them are like swimming fans, they like swimming and that. And I also have a Fansly as well. So you have...
What's Fansly?
So Fansly is like OnlyFans, literally the exact same, but I have Fansly. Fansly is more targeted towards my New Zealand followers, because I go on my Fansly more around like a New Zealand time, whereas a lot of my OnlyFans followers are like American in that. So I kind of have to get in the right time zone, and obviously time zones are quite different. So Fansly is more towards like my New Zealand subscribers, but a lot of my followers are kind of like international, like Americans and kind of all that. But it's it's a cool lifestyle, but obviously, but again, with the money, it's great, but you have to diversify, because I can't do OnlyFans forever. Like, no one's going to want to see a bloody 50-year-old wrinkly woman in front of the camera. So it's kind of like, or actually, no, maybe people do. There's all sorts of niches in that, but I don't want to be doing it forever in that. So it's a great base to build some wealth. And like, I've seen it all like TikTok and that, and you have one big money building like wealth tool. So if you have like a successful business or successful OnlyFans and that, and then you branch out to other streams of income. So I actually do a bit of like property investing too. So I have a few properties. So you could call me like a landlord, I guess. And I have a
few properties.
I've got
a landlord. You're a tycoon.
Yeah. Well, I've got 3 at the moment, but I've actually was lucky to get a mentor. So we've been talking about kind of doing it differently, because I was kind of buying new build properties at the time, but we're looking at it like in a different way now. But yes, literally like, I have my property investment, and I obviously have a fitness app called FizzFit, and that was kind of just creating something new, and that was cool. So that's like a fitness app that I have as well, that people can, if they need like a fitness program or like a meal plan catered to like their needs or something, then they can do that. And it's actually catered for like most ages too, so that's pretty good. I'm thinking, what else do I do to earn? I was a bit of like an entrepreneur when I was younger. I started like a selling account when I was younger, and I'd like go to like the op shop and I'd buy clothing and I'd like resell it. This is before like anyone was doing it.
Right.
And I would like resell stuff from like the op shop, and then to just earn a bit of money. I've always kind of
had that hustler's mentality.
Yeah, honestly, just like always found a way to make money in whatever way I needed in that. And like, I hand on my heart, I can say as well, like OnlyFans is great, but it kind of, my Instagram wasn't to earn money. It was just because I had a passion. I enjoyed it. A lot of like people with successful businesses, you can't really be in it for the money. You have to kind of, want to make a change. And it's not so much about money. I know it's a motivating factor, but you got to do what you love. Like, I don't know, say for example, there was this person that drinks coffee all the time, and they were sick of their coffee getting cold. They're going to bring out a new coffee cup that keeps you, obviously people do that now, that keeps your coffee warm. So it started with like a passion and a problem, which led to success with the money. But you can't be in it for the money because you're not gonna last, are you? If it's just.
How have you managed to not cross that threshold?
I think
it must be tempting.
I think kind of I always think about that thing, like whatever you post is always going to be out there. So I always remember that, like whatever, you got to be fine with it if it's going to be out there forever. So I always think about that. That's definitely a big one. I guess just like, I think being within like the swimming community and coming from like an athletic background, you have to be careful. I just think like, I'm not sure if I have people looking up to me, but you just want to kind of have a good image about you and all that. But like, I have absolutely no problem if people do. One of my close friends does a lot of pornography and that, and that's completely fine, because that's her boundary and that's her barrier, and she's comfortable with that and all that. But I just, obviously it can be, it can be tempting, but it just, I don't know. I think like sometimes it's just within you, and you got to be confident doing that stuff on camera. I think I'd be terrible. So yeah, not for me, but if it's for people, then that's fine. But I think like it's really important if anyone's thinking of doing OnlyFans, like just have those boundaries to start, and just if you're thinking about crossing one, just really have like a good think about it, because once you do it, you can't take it back. Especially people will get immune to it, because if you give them it, then it's like, what's next, and if you give them all of it, it's like, well, what's next now? You got to keep stepping up, and you're like, shit, I've gone too far, so
yeah,
you got to stay staunch. But OnlyFans is great, I can post what I want, when I want, do messages whenever I want as well, so I'm in control of everything that goes out there, so it's great. And if there's a subscriber giving me shit or being annoying, it's just a block or restrict, so it's kind of like, it's a great platform, I think, for people if they don't really want to kind of, how would you say it? I think back in the day with like people, sex work and that, you could be forced into stuff you don't want to do. But I think now with like OnlyFans, you can kind of be in control of what you do, which is great if you go down that route. So
and your partner Josh, like what sort of discussions did you have? What does he make of it?
Yeah, so it was kind of like, obviously did Patreon to start, but everything that I do, like, I'm transparent about, and like he knows and all that with my platforms and everything. So, and he's really supportive in that, and he gets to go along the ride with the cool lifestyle and that. So it's like, it's good. But obviously, like, we're actively looking for other ways to, to earn money, because I guess like we know OnlyFans isn't forever, but it's a great step, when you at this age especially, gives us the chance to travel and that. But you just got to be open about it. Even like my parents know, they were the first ones I told them. I was like, Mum, Dad, I'm going to be doing OnlyFans and that. And Mum was a bit unsure, obviously, to start. I think Mum just wants to protect me from anything. And she was good.
Let's just pause on this for a second. So you sit them down, you have this chat with them.
Yeah.
Do they know what OnlyFans is, or they've just heard what?
They did know, because my friend started OnlyFans and she was very successful on it. And so Mum knew about it. I guess my dad, like, he doesn't, it's more like a conversation with me and Mum, because dads just kind of go along with it, don't they? You keep
doesn't want to know.
Happy wife, happy life, But he's I just talked to them in that, and I think Mum was a bit concerned, but like I said, starting Patreon first was the best way to do it, because it was like a slow warm up to kind of subscription platforms and that. But like I said, like, main thing is to give back to Mum and Dad. So first thing I did after on OA for maybe, like I said, I'm bad at maths, maybe like 9 months, I went out, and Mum and Dad's dream has been a caravan for so long, because obviously they've had that dream for like 30 years, but they've had so many bloody kids and that, and they just, with money, they couldn't afford it. So I went out and got them a caravan, and I surprised them. I parked it down the road, and I was like, oh, Mum, Dad, like, can we go for a walk, with the dog and that? And it was just parked down from like their house, and I was like, oh, there's a property on this house that I want to look at, and Dad's like, okay, sweet. And then we walked down, and the caravan's on the back of my ute, and it's got the caravan on it, and Mum and Dad walk, and they stop, and they're like, oh my gosh, Phoebe, like, what is that? And Mum was still like holding her heart. She was like, oh my gosh, what is that? And I was like, Merry Christmas, and they were like, holy shit. And like, that was so cool. I actually think I got a few tears in them, which is nice, but it's like giving back to them as much as I can. And like Mum said, like, I bought them the dream, because that's what they've always wanted. And I think that's the main thing, that I'm so family orientated. Just give back to Mum and Dad, and that is just like the main thing, especially with like my swimming career and that. And But they've got a few. I bought them a new car as well. They used to drive a Toyota Aqua, which had so many Ks in it, and I was like, gosh, like. And my dad is just like a fanatic for hybrid cars. Like he loves hybrid cars. So he got them like a Toyota Corolla hybrid or something. He like is obsessed with those cars. So we got that. And again, mum and dad are like, oh my God. Like I always surprise them when I get this stuff. It's always like I walk up, I'm like, oh, come look outside, you know, look at this. And they're like, oh my God, you know. But yeah, give back to mum and dad all the time. Like that's the they're your creators, you know, and they're the ones who first believed in you. So it's like that's my main goal is to give back to mum and dad, take a bit of pressure off them and that. So
yeah, it's so lovely.
Yeah, it's cool.
They're your creators, but now you're a creator.
Yeah.
It's like a full circle thing.
Yeah.
And you're 22 now.
Yes.
And you bought your first house at 21.
20.
20.
I think I bought one in Tauranga when at 20.
Shit, so what was your deposit? Like 100K?
No, I put a bigger deposit. I put over 250,000 on that one.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Well, it was kind of like the property was initially it was like, because we didn't know what OnlyFans would do, so it was like doom and gloom, like if it all packs in, I've got a house to live in and I've got something out of it. But then it kind of turned more into investment. So then that's like obviously investment property now and it rents out. And then I bought 2 other properties as well in Auckland. I think last year. Was it last year? Yeah. I think I did 3 in a year and I was chugging along. But this year's been more about enjoying the wealth a little bit and exploring, traveling. I bought a bloody Porsche as well. That was pretty cool.
I was going to get into that. A brand new one. You shared this on Instagram. Actually, you did like a reel and it was the progression of your car journey.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really, so what do you pay for a new 911?
Gosh.
2?
No.
More?
So my dad was trying to get the price out of me because I showed him the Porsche before I bought it, and I actually told the sales guy in there, he's actually called Julius, like we really like Julius, and I said, remove that sales price. Because my dad was on like researching like, how much is it. So our one is, the value of it is about 340,000. It's like, even talking about
now. That's a shit investment, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
Can you drive okay? I was a shit driver and I'm still a shit driver. Can you drive okay? I'd be scared of like wrecking the rims.
We had a situation in Countdown Point Shed when I think someone was under the influence or something, and she had a sign and she threw it at the car. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was getting in the car with my mum, but my mum was like daydreaming, no idea. And I was like, Mum, get in the fucking car. Like, there's someone trying to like bash the car up. We go to drive out, and this lady is running like on the side of it and tries to jump in front of the car. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then she, boom, swings, gets a punch into it. Thank God there was no damage. But that was like the first kind of thing that happened in the Porsche. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is like, it kind of took the love out of it a bit, because it was like, oh, I think when you drive a car like that, you get mixed opinions and all sorts of stuff. But I think, especially when you start making a lot of money, you need to get stuff to offset the tax, because if you're paying a lot of money, like my tax bill this year was atrocious. So you buy stuff to offset tax, you know, business vehicle, and it's great for like promotion on social media, because it's a little bit controversial as well. It's like, what's this girl doing? She's 22, she's got a Porsche, you know, and you get, it's a bit of like a marketing tool in a way, because it's kind of like, it brings a bit of media attention. But I do love Porsche, and I love the car and that, and a 911 is such an iconic car, they don't lose their value too much. So, but it was, I was actually getting the Nissan Navara because I've got a ute, and I was getting it serviced, and then me and my partner were like, oh look, there's Porsche there, like, let's just have a little look. And the Porsche team actually all came together and designed a super cool car that they thought would look great. And that was actually in the showroom at the time, because to get a Porsche, it's like a 9-month or 12-month wait to get it built. But it was right there waiting for us, and we were like, oh my gosh, like, oh. But it was a cool moment. But it's, you know, it's nice having a nice car. But like I said, like, especially like my Instagram, I used to drive a Nissan March, like 2004, a purple one. It had all sorts of marks in it, but it still got me to A to B in there, and it's kind of
not
like,
as quickly though.
Well, actually, it's true. Not as quickly.
Oh no, good for you. This is great. And just quietly, like, it's a big middle finger to those bitches from when you're in the pool at 14, 15. isn't it?
It kind of like it's all paid off, kind of keeping in it. But like people will still find a way to hate that. But but you have OnlyFans, it's not a real job on that. But you just cannot care about what people think, because I wouldn't be here. And I think a lot of people put up with it, but it's just like,
well, people are gonna have an opinion on you regardless.
100%. So it's just like, fuck it, just
Yeah.
live life.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You and your partner. Oh, yeah. How is he with being like a boyfriend of Instagram?
Yeah.
There's a. Or do you have like a selfie light in the stand that does most of them? Or
So
is he photographer?
So, if we're talking like strictly like OnlyFans and like Fansly, usually I'm just using like a tripod or literally putting a phone up against something. But like he might help me with like the odd photo and stuff on OnlyFans. But for Instagram, he does play a big part in that. Like he's my
That
main.
must get so annoying.
Oh, he does. I think he does
Does he
get
get
embarrassed. Gets embarrassed sometimes with taking photos of me all the time. But he knows it's for business and that, and he does it. He just prefers if it's in more of a quieter area, not in the middle. Cause I don't care. I'm just like, just take the photo. Like if people ask me, it's my bloody job and that. And he's like, oh God, like. But he gets onto it and he helps me. So.
Well, you guys have just been on a European holiday and you flew business class.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Josh, you want to keep flying in those seats?
Yep.
You take the fucking photos.
100%.
Right?
Yep. 100%. It was, business class was great. It was
So expensive though, eh? It's excessive.
It was. I think the way to do it is you go through a travel agent, and they actually end up getting like some better rates in that. But yes, it is expensive. But honestly, we had such bad turbulence coming back, and I think regardless of what seat you're in the plane, you're still gonna feel like I got a bit like motion sickness because the plane was like bouncing up and down in that. So whatever seat you're in, it still was shit. But business class, you can lay down when you sleep, so it's like, and the food's nice, but I think you pay the money because you can literally lay down in your bed and just sleep. So it's just like, that's the great thing. But I need to take mum and dad overseas, and I'm going to treat them to business, and I think it'd be so cool. But then again, my dad's got a problem with flying, so it's like, oh, for God's sake, he hates the whole being trapped in a plane and you can't get out. But it's just like, Dad, if you try to jump at the plane, like, where are you going to go? It's just like, it's just shocking. Anyways.
Yeah, they must be. Yeah, what do your sisters think and your parents? They proud?
Yeah, honestly they are, and like my sisters have always just been good supporters in that, and 100%. No, family's just been great, and I give back to them as much as I can. Like obviously give the most back to mum and dad, but like I got my older sister like a tumble dryer or something. She needed a tumble dryer, random birthday gifts, but I was just like, I like to spoil them a little bit because it's kind of, they are the day ones and that, so I do give back.
And how do they have to deal with much sort of like, backlash, snide remarks, comments from other people? Well, not so much anymore.
Honestly, I'm not as much in the media eye, I think, for people to target my family. I think that a lot of my family is quite low key on social media, so it's never really like an issue. And it's never been an issue. Touch wood, gosh, I don't want it to ever be an issue. Don't come for my family, God. But
what about like an issue with creepy dudes or anything? Like comments on, maybe not necessarily on OnlyFans either, but on the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram.
On OF, I had a guy that was like he wasn't a news presenter, but he was like at the Swimming New Zealand meets, he was like a camera guy. I don't know who he was amongst, or it must have been years ago. I don't know who it is, but he was a camera guy or something, and would like film me when I was swimming, like for like this live streams or something. That was a bit weird. But apart from that, I haven't really had creepy people. I don't really like put myself out there enough like in public to kind of be targeted.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I walk around the beach in a little bikini and that, but I think like I don't really go out and party much. I feel like I went through my party stages when I was like 19, 20, so I don't really, not really. I think I'm lucky that a lot of my followers are overseas opposed to New Zealand, and New Zealand's such a small little country, so it's like I've been good. Touch wood though, it's like, I don't want to have to deal with that. I know, like, yeah.
No unwanted, unsolicited dick pics or anything like that?
Like, you get the odd one on Instagram, you get them so much, but I don't even go.
So much, like, what do you mean?
I don't go on my requests because I don't read my requests, but like on OnlyFans, like you do, I think people think that it's a platform that, like, like I'm subscribed to you, do you want to see stuff of me? Some people think it's a dating app, and it's like, it's not a dating app. Like, you subscribe to me to see my content, I don't subscribe to you. But I always say, like, on OnlyFans you actually get like a little blurred preview, and like you know straight away, and it's just like report it. And I'm like, don't send me pictures without my permission, because sometimes I ask to see like nice landmarks, or like if they're like, I'm from Spain, I'm like, oh wow, like send, you know, a photo of like your local beach or something. But you do get the odd creeper, you know, trying to send photos, but I don't have to open them, I just literally report them, so
yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few questions here about OnlyFans. Yeah, what do you think is the biggest misconception about OnlyFans and its creators?
That I think everyone on OnlyFans does pornography. It's not true. It's a subscription platform where your fans can pay, and not everyone does pornography. You can literally do cooking videos, or you can sell advice on sport, and that. It's just a paid platform that people go on. Not everyone does pornography. So that's the biggest thing with OnlyFans. And that's why the stigma around it, it's like, oh my gosh, you know. But not everyone does porn on OnlyFans. I know it's like the biggest money maker, but not everyone does it. So,
jeez, it seems like you're doing just fine without it.
Yeah.
What's you tell me to piss off if you don't want to answer this, but your biggest single month?
So I'm not going to say exact figures, but it was over 6 figures in 1 month.
Over 100K in 1 month.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's.
And so you go through your accountant, you pay tax out of that. How much does OnlyFans take as a platform?
They take 25% of, yeah. But again, like, I know they take a lot of money out of that, but it's like they give you the platform in there, and kind of like your end money, like you just get everything, but without their 25% cut taken out. So it's not like I'm paying them out money. I just get what's taken out with the 25% cut taken off. So, but yeah, they do. That's why they earn so much money. That company's worth. So I wish I like invested in it like back in 2016. Would have been very
imagine
wealthy.
Clipping the ticket that big with
Honestly,
every single creator.
Yep.
It's crazy.
You've got people in there like, honestly, I'm a small fish. Like, I think one of the top creators was earning like 5 million a month or something. Like, that's so much money. I think normal people earn like $1 million a month or something. USD as well. So,
are you worried that like I mean, you're still very, very young. You're never going to have like a normal job. Like, imagine you getting a job paying 70, 80 grand a year. Like,
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you've been very. You've worked hard, but you've been very lucky and very spoiled with how things have panned out at a very young age.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think that's why it's so important when you're in OnlyFans to get other streams of income.
Yeah. Because
you can't really go to a normal job. That's why I don't want people just rushing into OnlyFans, because once you kind of have that OnlyFans status, it always stays with you, and it can really stitch you up in future life if you don't have a real plan of where you're going. So I think I've like kind of accepted that, and that's okay. But yeah, it's you just gotta be careful with OnlyFans. I don't want people rushing out and starting them, because it's great, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and that there's a lot of negativity and backlash that comes with it. But I've accepted that, and that's why I've got other streams of income coming through. So
you could. Yeah, where did the yes, it seems like you do have your head screwed on the right way. Where did that come from?
I think just talking to the right people. It was hard when I first started, because as much as I love my parents, I couldn't go to my parents for advice, because I was kind of going places they've never so much been before. I think their goal was just like buy a house, pay off your mortgage, but it was kind of like that wasn't the direction, because I really wanted to build some wealth. So it was just about talking to the right people and people who have somewhat done it. And literally, like on TikTok, I know you shouldn't just take TikTok advice all the time, but there's a lot of helpful advice there. And I think my accountant obviously deals with a lot of like big dogs, I call them, like, you know, the high rollers who actually earn a lot of money, and you know, they get good advice. And obviously got like a mentor now that helps me a bit with property and that. So you got to know what you're doing, because when you got a lot of money coming in, it's easy to go off and buy heaps of designer and, you know, splash your money. But you got to kind of keep your head screwed on, I think, a bit.
Yeah, what do you like to spend your money on? You've got the Porsche, there's the business class flights.
Oh, I've gone a bit silly, and I've got a bit of a designer phase at the moment, just buying so much design. I got this small, I got a little Rolex as well, which is quite nice. That was, Rolex is actually quite hard to get. It's kind of, you can't just walk in and buy them. It's like, you register your interest, and if they like you, then they're going to give you one. But it's like, I was getting like ignored by Rolex for ages, and then it wasn't until I bought a Porsche I had like a slight referral. So then that was how I kind of got my way on purchasing like a Rolex and that. But yeah, I love like Dior and Chanel. It's terrible. But in Europe it's a lot cheaper. So, but designers, honestly, it's a big waste of money. I need to stop buying it because it's just, how much does it cost them to make it, you know? So, but no, I'm saving up now to get more properties. I'm going to start being more strict. But like I said, this year was kind of more about having fun and buying the nice car and all that, but now it's like hustle time and to really start building more wealth. So
good on you. What do you pay for a Rollie?
Oh, this one here was about 22,000. So
couple of weeks.
Yeah. Less than that, actually.
That's crazy, eh? Less than that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. This is crazy. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Have you I don't know much about like the money laundering laws or whatever, but I know last time I sold a house, there was like all this documentation I had to do with the bank. Under some, if you have like a large sum of money going into your bank, there's some like money laundering thing they have to go through. Like, have you had anything like justifying where all the money's coming from?
I think not really, because when I pay myself an OF, it doesn't all come in like one big monthly sum. It's kind of like small amounts, kind of could come in like, you know, $6,000, you know. So not really too much. I think my bank kind of know that I have the amount of money. I think when I first started getting money in, I think they might have asked me, but this was a while ago, but I don't think they really mind too much. So,
no.
Yeah.
And have you got like a little notification on your phone every time there's like a new subscriber, or?
I like turn all my notifications off because I get a lot through like Instagram and like OnlyFans and that, but like, not really. I think when I go on my OnlyFans, look at like my notifications, but I don't like keep an eye on it. I just kind of, you know, I like when I put my phone down, that's my phone down, and then I can, because I've got like 2 little cute cats as well, so I play with Bandit and Freddy and that. It's just good to get away from it. That's why like the power of OnlyFans is amazing, because you can be on your phone and you can work and stuff, but if you want to get away from that, just put your phone down and just, I don't know, go for a walk or something. It's good to be able to get away from it. So. Yeah,
do you sort of structure it like a business? Like, do you have like a couple of hours every day where you say to your partner, Josh, right, now's my, you know, messaging time, or?
Yeah.
Are you quite good at, yeah?
I think like it kind of ranges. Like sometimes I will reply to messages 2 times a day and that, and go through all of them. And it could take me like an hour to do all of them. But I guess like, not like, it just depends on when I'm free, because like, if I'm like gymming in the morning, I'm kind of quite busy during the morning and that, so it just kind of depends. But I try to do my messages 2 times a day, because it's I think the more active you stay, the more connected you can stay with your fans, and it's better to be on there more. And then you got to make Instagram content and that, because the main thing with OF is self-promotion. Constantly need to like self-promote yourself, otherwise you're going to lose fans. So it is a bit of pressure that I have to withhold that, because obviously I have a lot more liabilities now, obviously having properties and all that. So you do have to definitely work for your money. I know it's not like a generic job, but you still, you know, you still
it's like anything in life, you get out what you put in.
Yeah, 100%. If you, and a great platform's TikTok. Again, TikTok is great to kind of earn money in that, because you can, when I had that viral post, that 17 million views, because I've actually got 2 TikToks, so another one actually got around that too. So I've got 2 videos that had 17 million views, and like all that traffic from there, you're going to gain like 1,000 subscribers, because they go from your TikTok onto your Instagram, onto like your OF or your Fansly. So it's kind of like, if you put in a lot of effort, you can actually make a lot of money. I think it's just all about self-promotion, and that's just like how you do it. So.
Yeah, those TikTok numbers are crazy, eh? Like,
I don't understand it.
Eye-watering number. But you don't make any money directly from that? Or?
No, I don't make money off TikTok. I think you need to do videos over a minute maybe or something. But no, I don't really make money off TikTok. But TikTok's annoying, like the most stupid videos. Like, I've got, like, that's just me getting out of a pool. I've got way cooler stuff, like me doing like a dive and like, you know, and it's just like, I've just got way cool stuff. But that one video, I don't get TikTok. It just, and even like Instagram. this most stupid stuff gets the most likes, and it's like, oh god.
Oh yeah, do you get any money from that, or do you get many brands coming to you wanting to do collabs?
I do, yeah. So when I was younger, obviously a way to make money was to do like collaborations. I worked with Nike actually when I was 15. I did a promotion for Nike. They paid me like, I think like, for like a 15-year-old, I got paid like $3,000, which was like for 2 posts, and I was like, oh my gosh, wow, this is so cool. It was like one of their like new sneakers or something I had to like promote. But I have worked with a lot of companies. What's some cool ones that I've worked with? I don't work with them so much now because I try to keep my page more like authentic. I don't want to just use my followers just for like just to be paid on Instagram. I don't know, I don't really do too much. But gosh, there's so many. I did like a lot of promotion for like Tank when I was younger, so I'd get like free food from Tank and free smoothies. I did one it was like a watch company that did like Tissot and Timex and all that, and I'd get like free watches and heavily discounted. Oh gosh, there's been all sorts of stuff. I did one for Manscaped recently. Could obviously Manscaped's like a male shaving.
Shave your pubic hair.
Yeah, I've like shaving your balls or something,
Right.
but I think it can be used to like your facial hair and that. But I had to promote
Gross.
that.
You know,
I know.
you want a different razor for your face.
I
just
know.
quietly.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. Oh, that's terrible. There'd be some men that would use them in both places. Oh, that's terrible. But yeah, so.
What other questions have? This is. Thanks for being so open, eh? This is
It's all right. It's okay.
It's a really big insight. You're not you're not embarrassed, and you shouldn't be embarrassed about how much money you're making.
Oh well, like you kind of got to be open about some stuff, obviously. And I haven't given you guys like complete figures. I'm still keeping.
So I mean, it's rude of me to ask that stuff. Like,
no,
you don't ask everyone what they're earning at their job. Like,
I think we're just like, if it's kind of different. I think it's just like it can be maybe motivating some people, like astounding, just like how the generation has like changed in that. But like, it's fine. I haven't really done a podcast since kind of all this stuff has happened with OF. Obviously, I've been reached out to, but I want to make sure I'm doing it with like a legitimate, obviously when you reached out, I was like, yeah, like 100%. Like, it's nice to just come on and just talk about life a bit, maybe. So, but no, it's been pretty good.
I appreciate that. Oh, what's like some of the weirdest requests you've ever had? Like, have you been asked to like stomp into a sponge cake with your feet?
No, there's a really weird one. Some guy on OnlyFans wanted me to blow a balloon until it popped, and it was so scary, and I was like, I'm so sorry, like I can't do that, it's so scary. And he was like, you can wear, and I was like, can I wear like clothing or anything? Because I think he originally wanted me like sit on the balloon. I guess that's not as weird, but I was like, nah, like I don't want to do that. And he said blow the balloon until it pops, but like it was so embarrassing, the video, because like I was so scared, so I put like a cap and goggles on to like protect my eyes, and it was terrible. I think the guy like somewhat enjoyed the video, but he was like, it wasn't really what I was after. 'Cause the balloon didn't even pop, but I was just too scared. I was just like, what are you gonna do with this video? It's just weird.
It's weird.
Just, yeah.
How much extra did he pay for that?
Oh god, I think let me think. I think he paid about like 200 USD maybe. So probably about maybe 250, maybe about 400 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah, I'd be pissed off that the balloon didn't pop.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I think he was. Yeah, yeah.
But I suppose you're making so much money. You're like, oh, I don't. This is admin.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, yeah.
well, that's
requests.
cool. What advice would you give to someone considering starting an OnlyFans account?
I think like before you start an OnlyFans, get a few fans behind you. I think really like self-promote yourself and to get a fan base behind you, because if you just do an OnlyFans, I think when you start an OnlyFans, you get a bit of hate, and like, because there's always going to be people who are going to find your OnlyFans and try to subscribe and all that. So just make sure you have a good fan base behind you, and like fully commit to it as well. Don't just, do it half-ass. You got to really just be committed and be like, look, I'm going to do this. But I just think with like, if you just be careful, reevaluate what you want to do in life and if it's going to affect you in the future, because like I said, it's great, but sometimes it's not worth it if you want to go into like a big career job and all that. So, but I think like it might be easier for girls who have OnlyFans to find jobs in the future, because the generation is always changing, and I think people are a lot more open to OF now than they were when I first started it. So I think just build a good fan base behind you, because then you've got paying subscribers, and just go at your own pace, but don't overdo it and oversell yourself, because it just because like I said, content gets leaked, and if something gets leaked that's going to genuinely upset you or ruin your life, or that's a bit over dramatic, but just be careful.
So what has this happened to you? What's the content that's been leaked?
So I've had like OnlyFans content leaked, nothing like horrific, but it's because people don't want to obviously pay for content. But you get all sorts of leaked stuff, but that's why you're always going to make sure you have an internet removal team which can remove leaked content. But a lot of those the people that are leaking the content are in like Russia and other countries where you can't actually really get it taken down. I think their copyright rules are different or something.
Wow.
But you've got to make sure you invest money in an internet removal team. That's really important, because they're not stealing your money, but people are like, why would I pay when it's, out there? But I control it, and like my leaks are very minimal. So, but you're always going to get your first leak and be like, oh my gosh, and
it's the end of the world.
So, yeah.
By the way, this is the first time in over 100 and something podcasts that I've ever heard the phrase content removal team.
Yeah, oh they do.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but it's good. Like, I think, especially New Zealand, I think if anyone ever posted anything they didn't like, or I don't know, it's just good to fall back on if you like need it, You've got to pay people when you're in business, and that you need useful people and resources. So, yeah.
And when you've been doing it for a while, like you have, and you've built up like a fan base, how do you decide what type of new content to create for the subscribers? Like, how do you keep it fresh?
I think like you're always buying like new outfits and that, and changing it up. Like, you can research ideas online and stuff if you want, but I just think it's like you just got to keep it fresh and fun, and like change it up and all that. And one big one is like, I just think like, a good one I usually do is like bikini hauls and that. So like if I went to Europe and I got 5 new bikinis, I do like a bikini haul and that, and show like people, or like
bikini what?
Bikini haul.
Haul.
So it's like we call that hauls. Like you just try on like different bikinis and like show them, and then you can be like, which one do you like out of the 1 to 5? What's your favorite one or something? So you just like constantly like just changing your content, keeping it fresh. But I think there will always be a demand for like women's bodies. I don't know how to, but it will never die out. But you just got to keep it fun, and you got to really look like you're enjoying yourself when you make your content. Because I genuinely I actually enjoy doing OnlyFans. A lot of girls are like OnlyFans and that, but like I actually enjoy it, and I actually, because I've been reached out by so many different companies to do like my messages on OnlyFans, and I was like, nah, like I'm actually quite happy doing it. So I think it makes a difference if you actually love what you do. It's funny saying I love doing OnlyFans, but it's great.
What do you love about it? Is it the money, or is it the validation from, these fans?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say it's the validation. I would say it's more so I like having a purpose in the morning, and it's kind of like I like sitting down and sitting on my laptop and doing my work and having like a coffee and that, and replying and like talking to all sorts of new people and that. Like, some people are so like foreign, I guess you could say, that they don't even speak English, so I'm like using a translator to like communicate. I think it's cool just meeting new people and all that. I enjoy it, and obviously like the money is rewarding, but it's I do genuinely enjoy doing it, and I think my fans can see that within me. I think if you don't enjoy it, it just makes the content look forced and not good. Again, that's why you got to make sure you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, because you don't really want to look uncomfortable on content or like on camera, if that makes sense. So
it does make sense.
Yeah.
How many togs do you have?
Oh God.
Like 100?
Probably about that. I have so many. I remember going shopping in Europe. I was on a swimming trip. I went to Europe with swimming, and there was this. I bought like so many bikinis, and some guy was like, "Why do you need so many bikinis?" Like ripped into me, and I was just like, "God, like you haven't even seen how many bloody pairs of togs I got at home." Like, I've got training swimwear, obviously for like pool swimming, training bikinis for pool swimming. Then I've got bikinis for beach. Then I've got like my OnlyFans bikinis, which is probably like not like a G-string, more like a string, that a bit more raunchy. You could probably wear it in Europe, but not in New Zealand, because I actually had a situation. It was terrible. I was at swimming, and there was like an outdoor shower by the swimming pool. So I finished training, and I'd go in the shower because it was cold, and I was like in my Wim Hof stage. Like, I used to love having cold showers, and I was literally having a shower, and this man kept staring at me, and I actually got a complaint from a woman because she said that her husband was looking at me but blamed me and not the husband. And I was like, for God's sakes, like, I got the blame, not her husband. It was just like, oh, God.
It's your fault.
Oh,
Shame on you.
It was all my fault. Just having a cold shower, and I got the blame for this woman for her husband not being able to keep his eyes to himself. Like, obviously you look at people, but you know, oh God, yeah, it's shocking.
And
Anyways.
any encounters in real life where you know people, you're at the mall or you're at the beach and people come up to you because they recognise you from online?
Not really. I think it's because a lot of my fan base is worldwide. So not really. That hasn't happened in New Zealand. Maybe like when I was younger with swimming, before any of OF started, like I had a bigger platform, like a few girls and guys would like ask for photos of me, but not really anymore. Maybe because I'm like an OF creator. They're like, no, you can't take a photo of her. You know, she could be a porn star. So not really, honestly, not really too much. I'm not really like, I think there's stages of being a celebrity in that, and I don't really think, I'm in a great position because I'm not too much in the media eye, but I'm earning good money, so it's kind of like I'm quite comfortable where I am right now. But I think that's the hard thing with like famous people. It's way better to be rich than famous because like you can see like how like some celebrities have to live. It looks so hard in that with like paparazzi everywhere. But no, I'm pretty sheltered from it, which I'm very grateful for because I just think I like doing stuff by myself and going for walks, and I like to feel safe in that. So.
Yeah, well, that's the impression I've got from our chat today. Like, you know, you're in a loyal relationship. You have been for a long time.
Yeah.
You've got your head screwed on the right way. Like, you are, you know, looking after yourself, the Rolex and the Porsche and whatnot. But you're also, you know, keeping an eye out for future Phoebe as well.
Yeah.
You got your cats, and you're just a fit and healthy young woman.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do thank Mum and Dad. They did raise me well. I've always learnt you always have to be polite in that. We were actually astounded when we were in Europe at how rude people were overseas in comparison to like Kiwis. I feel a lot of Kiwis are a lot more polite, but in like Europe you could open a door for someone and they wouldn't even say thank you. And I was like, I stood there and I thought, oh my God. And my partner was like, don't say anything. Like, you don't know who you're messing with. I think like you just always got to have manners. You can't be rude to people. You've got to be kind to people. And this whole thing with like thinking you're better than people, like I'm not about that. You know, we're all equal in our own ways and that. And you don't ever think you're better than someone because you've got more money than them and all that. It's just, you got to treat everyone with respect. Again, you don't know what someone's going through as well. Someone's, you know, you just never know. My sister, when she was younger, had a really, really rough time with mental health, like terrible. I think 10 years she was unwell and she got admitted 3 times. So it was really bad, and I was quite young when that was all happening. And I think that really opened my... She's completely recovered now and has a little boy in that, so she's doing amazing. But and she helps people now as well who are going through her same situation. She's got all that experience that she can just help people. She would have saved like over 100 lives by now.
Yeah.
So she's very great. But I think that just really taught me, like, you just never know what someone's going through. You can't be mean to people or anything. You give people respect.
No, I agree. You just want to be kind. Where you can. I mean, it's simple common courtesy, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also, poor mental health can impact anyone at any time.
Oh,
how are you? The mental health been good?
Yeah, honestly, well, so nothing terrible, but I had a stage where it happened last year, and I swam a 200 breaststroke, so that's 8 laps of breaststroke, and that was like my main really good event. In 2019, I actually got a bronze medal at the New Zealand Open Championships. That was like my first ever big medal, and it was amazing. It was so cool. So that was like my event, and I swam it underprepared. And on like the 5th lap, I had like a panic attack when I was swimming, but I had like no idea what was happening, but it really took my breath away and it scared me because I was like, well, I've never like dealt with anything like that. So that really like, stumbled me. And I think I always have to be doing something, and I always have to be busy. That's my main thing. I can't just sit and relax. And another time happened last year too, was that I did a big gym session, got home and went straight out to the mall to do something, and midway in the mall felt like I was having like a light panic attack as well, and that was quite hard because it was like I didn't have as much control over my mind, and I felt like once you lose your mind you've lost everything because like this up here is so important. So it was kind of like it wasn't embarrassing, but it was like, okay, it's time to reach out and to get some help. So I saw a hypnotherapist because my mum actually felt like a hypnotherapist would be best because they get you in they get you to meditate and they get you in a state to like talk to like your other mind. And it was really, really helpful. And she got me into like meditating and that. And she's amazing. Like, and she helped me get me to like my last nationals and not kind of freak out or, you know, have a, cause panic attacks can be scary because it's like you don't know when they could happen and they can just happen and, you know, they can be scary. But it was kind of like taking control of my mind again. And that was really important. And she's great. So I think like, when this first starts happening, I think with anyone, if you deal with something like that, it's see someone, talk to someone, because if you keep putting it back, it will genuinely just get worse. And it was just annoying. Like, it would piss me off so much. I'd even be driving and I'd be thinking the most stupid stuff like, oh, I could just pass out by the wheel right now and I could just crash. Like, just such unhelpful thoughts I've never had. So it's so important to reach out and to get help because, you know, you can't live your life like that. So I'm very thankful for like my hypnotherapist. But apart from that, I was always pretty thick-skinned, and with school and stuff, I was pretty good. I've been pretty lucky. But obviously with my sister, with dealing with her issues, I think I was 50% more at risk maybe. I think if a family member has dealt with bad mental health, but it
so far so good.
Yeah, honestly, so far so good. But I'm not perfect, and like I said, I had to reach out to like a therapist, but. You know, like I said, if you lose your mind, you lose everything. So this thing up here is so powerful. And sometimes it thinks like unnecessary, unhelpful stuff, but it's just all about, you know, you talk back to it and you're just like, or sometimes you can be like, why am I thinking this? Like, come on. And I think a big one for me is like, if I'm going to go out, it's like, make sure I've eaten enough food, taken care of my body, you know, listen to my body. And then it's like, okay, I can go out now. But it's a real thing, I think. Just got to speak up and... Yeah, 100%. But it's normal, it's natural. So,
and where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years, 10 years from now?
So I'm actually doing my real estate license at the moment. So I'm trying to get my real estate license because if you know, I might not want to sell houses, but it's just good to educate myself, I guess, on real estate, and could obviously I'm in the property market a little bit. So I think it'd be great to have like a successful business running. And 5 years, might still be doing OnlyFans, might not. But kids, could I'd be like 27, 28. Maybe kids, I don't know. I'm not putting like a time frame on it. I think like when you're younger, you're like, I want kids when I'm 24 and I want to be married by 25. But then when you actually get to that age, you're like, whoa, like, you know, I'm not ready for that. Especially when my siblings have kids now. It's like, whoa, like, it's just like...
You can't have them and then change your mind.
No, that's great, actually. I can enjoy being an auntie and not having to deal with doing the bloody diapers and all that.
Yeah.
But, I think just, like, hopefully running a successful business and, you know, might still be doing OnlyFans, might not.
100% you will. It's going to be too hard to turn you back on that, isn't it?
It could be hard, but I think if I've got something else going that's financially supporting me the same, but if not more, then I think like why not? But you just never know. I think I'm very big with thinking in the present. No, like not present. Gosh, thinking right now and just one step forward. Because we can get a little bit overwhelmed. Because I can be like, oh my god, you know, I can't do OnlyFans forever. This is so scary. One step at a time. But yeah, hopefully successful business owner, still heavy. I'd love to actually be a big investor, have 20, 30 properties and just be living off that income. But I think, yeah, even I was thinking I could even do like, maybe like a, what do you call it again? Doing like a course for OnlyFans. I think for people who want to step in more my direction with OnlyFans, not go that full extent with like pornography, I think that could be cool to kind of educate girls, especially kind of with OF and all that. So that could be something. But
like a content creator sort of course.
Like, yeah, maybe like if you're looking more to go into OF and that, because I'm somewhat a content creator, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm so much.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, I just don't like.
Why don't you like that title?
I think when I was younger, I'd get invited to launches, and I think the demographics of the influencers were just rich upbringing and not polite, and I just didn't want to associate with that. Like when I was 14, I think I was going to like Bondi Sands is a really successful suntan company, and I remember going there actually, and just like the vibes just was like, and the girls like, oh, if you follow me, I'll follow you back and that. And it's just, that's just not really my vibe. So I don't call myself like an influencer, but I guess you could like somewhat say. I think I've just got that trauma from like growing up and like seeing what girls were like. Then I was like, I don't want to be like that. So
yeah, well, whatever you want to call yourself, you're doing exceptionally well for yourself. Like you'd be in the top 1% of income earners in New Zealand. For people your age, like in, say 18 to 24 demographic, you'd be in the top 0.0001%. Like you're crushing it. You're doing so well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. You proud of yourself?
Like, yeah, I am proud of myself. I think it's
I can tell you're ambitious.
Yeah, like I knew I didn't want to do like a normal job, and I always had self-belief. Like I've always had this feeling when I was younger that I will always be healthy and find my way with money. I think I've never really overstressed with money and, you know, always just known good things will come to me. I've just always believed that. It would annoy me because when I was swimming, I was more sure that I would be wealthy than I would be a good swimmer, and it would piss me off when I was a child because I was like, oh my God, like I want to make Olympics. But constantly I just always knew that I was going to be successful with money. Just random, always know when I was younger. And my dad would always say to me like, do you think this person works at Pack and Save or owns Pack and Save? That was like a big thing that we learned. Like being a business owner is so important because I think working the generic 9 to 5 can be really hard. And I think a lot of people get trapped within that because obviously you want to make money, but it's just, at the end of the day, it's just you're working under a big boss and earning them shit tons of money and you're just slaving away. I think your time is so valuable and it's just, it's hard to see, you know, with that. And, but I think, yeah, like, I'm pretty proud of myself, but at the end of the day, I'm making good money in that, but your health is your greatest wealth in that. And, yeah, I'm proud, but it's there's more important things to me than money. I think the main thing is just having a healthy family, healthy relationship, and just keeping myself in, like, good shape. That's the main one. Money's great, and it does solve a few problems, but I still get, you know, upset, you know, it's just... It does help me, but it's not everything. It's not the answer to all your problems, you know. I think, well, I actually saw... Yeah,
can I just say, like, when someone that's got lots of money says that, it's like, oh, okay,
whatever.
They always...
I know, people are like, shut up.
No, it's fair enough.
I agree, though.
Because you're from the UK. Your accent for someone that moved here is still quite strong, eh?
Well, people think, when I'm an Aussie, people think I'm Australian. Maybe because of what I look like, but obviously a generic blonde girl. But people think I'm Australian, South African, Kiwi. I get all sorts of stuff, but I've got weird twangs.
Yeah, but what I was going somewhere with this. So English has got that very well known sort of class system. So like where was your family in that? So like middle class or
my dad actually grew up in a state house or
council housing or a block.
So he wasn't wealthy, and like his parents were always like, you've got to eat all your food, otherwise there's no food, like there's nothing else. And he definitely grew up in a rough part. I think like in South London or something. I think mum was a bit more privileged, but where would mum and dad sit? I reckon like slightly below like middle class. We honestly like I said, like my first car was a Nissan March. Like that was when we moved to Auckland, that was originally my dad's car. My dad was like, Nissan March, great car, you know. And I actually had to pay my parents for that bloody car. I paid them like $1,000. And like my parents actually brought me up quite strict. Like I remember I was going to training and I had my phone in my pocket and my phone fell out. And obviously that was my lifeline when I was 14 and I was taking Instagram photos. And I didn't have like iCloud backup. So I lost all those photos. And I was like, oh, Mum, Dad, can I get a new phone? No, you got to go to work. You got to go work with your sister for a month. So I was just like, I had to go into ferry into the city with my sister and work for a month. And I had to like take staples out of like paper and stuff. It was like, but I've always been brought up to value money and respect money. I think you can definitely abuse money a lot, but I never grew up privileged. Never. Like I stand by that. I did not grow up privileged. At all.
Oh, good for you. No handouts or nothing, I can tell.
No.
Yeah, self-made.
Yeah, I would definitely say self-made. That's why it's so important to give back to mum and dad now. Obviously, like, there's many other people in worse situations, you know, in, like, third world countries and that. Like, we are very lucky with what we have. But I think in comparison to a lot of other people, we didn't have it super easy, you know. So, and I had to, like I said, I was 14, I lost my phone. It was like, no free phone from mum and dad. It was like, you work for a whole month.
Yeah.
It was,
What? When you showed them the caravan, you should have said, you guys can't have this.
Yeah. You've got to work for
me for a month before you get the caravan.
Honestly.
Karma.
I haven't forgiven them for that yet. Gosh.
Hey, well, Phoebe Harris, thank you so much for coming around today. Thanks for being so open. I do as much research as what I can for these chats. I couldn't find any other podcast you've been on, so I do really appreciate you coming around here today and also being so open about some really uncomfortable things to talk about.
Yeah, it's been great, and it's like I said, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while, but just been waiting for the right one. So it's good to come on here and just explain what my life is and kind of like what I'm up to now and stuff. Because my life has changed a lot since 2020. So I think I did a swimming podcast in like lockdown or something, but it was all like, I wasn't doing OF or anything. It was all swimming related. But no, it's good. It's great to be here, and hopefully it can show people what I do and stuff, and that it is cool and all that. But at the end of the day, it's just money. Health is the greatest wealth. That's a very big one. 100%.
Well, I appreciate it. Well,
yeah,
good
thank
luck
you
for the
so
future
much
and everything that it's going to bring.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that.